What's up, everybody? Celtic Scarecrow back whenever you get those 10s and 20 views. It is Wednesday, which means it's time for my NFL weekly picks. Last week I went 8-8. Yeah, few games just did not see happening. I did not think Minnesota would beat Frisco. Did not think the Falcons would beat the Eagles, especially in such a great game. That was a really fun, great game. I'm trying to think what other games I missed. Yeah, I missed a few games. Those were the big ones. Oh, Arizona blowing out the Rams was the other shocker. So yeah, 8-8, which brings my season total to 19-13. So I would have pushed last week. Still in the green, so that's a good thing. So let's get to it. To tomorrow's night game, which I will be streaming. We got the New England Patriots taking on the New York Jets. I'm going to shrink myself. I look really big. Boom. And over. There we go. Yeah, so doing the Patriots taking on the New York Jets. I am taking the Jets. Aaron Rodgers got his first win last week as a Jet, so that's good for him. And New England lost. Who did they lose to? They lost to Seattle in overtime. So New England is playing good, but it's kind of like almost that beginner's luck type thing early in the season. No one knows who you are type thing. And so that's where I'm going there. Moving on to the Sunday games, we got the New York Giants versus the Cleveland Browns. God, I did not want to pick this game. Giants are the first team ever to score 3 touchdowns and lose a game without giving up a touchdown. And Cleveland has Deshaun Watson, who's just continuing to be a horrible person. I'm going with the horrible people from Cleveland, not the horrible people from New York, the Browns. Moving on to the Green Bay Packers taking on the Tennessee Titans. This should be a very entertaining game. Malik Williams return to Tennessee after being traded. Will Levis is playing like an idiot. Best way I can say it. I'm going Packers. Just off the chase of who knows. Next up is the Chicago Bears taking on the Indianapolis Colts. All right, cool. This one is going to be entertaining. Bears defense looks not terrible. Caleb Williams in the live stream likes to play a lot of hero ball and gets blitzed up the middle. Anthony Richards, on the other hand, also likes to play hero ball, but he can't stay healthy. So I am going to go Colts just because they're home. That, as a Panthers fan, I need Caleb Williams not be good. I'll touch on that in a minute when I get to Carolina. Next up, we have the Houston Texans taking on the Minnesota Vikings. Sam Darnold, good on you, sir. Beat the Packers through a 97-yard touchdown pass. Houston won in a close game. I don't think it was a good game. It was close. Yeah, 19-13. So, I'm going Vikings because they just have looked more impressive in the first 2 games. Then we move on to the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the New Orleans Saints, and it's the Saints. They put up back-to-back 40 points, so they get an auto pick. It is an auto pick because they went 40 in 2 games. So, and the Eagles lost to the Falcons. They let primetime Kurt be a good thing. That was a great ending of that game. Then we got the Los Angeles Chargers taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This could be a sneaky good game. Chargers like to run the ball now. They jumped out on Carolina, but then got held in the second half. And the Steelers are just winning ugly. I am going Chargers. I had to check my notes, see which way I went there. Yeah, Chargers. Yeah, I think if they played the same way they played against Carolina, I don't think they'll have an issue here. Moving on to the Denver Broncos taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Denver is trying to figure out everything, what they have in Bo Nix, how to best implement the offense, and Baker's been baking, so I'm going Tampa Bay on this one. Yeah, the NFC South is actually looking really good outside of Carolina. Sucks. Next would be the Carolina Panthers game, which isn't the lowest game of the week. It was the Tampa Bay game. Tampa Bay Denver. Cheapest game on the docket, $43. Carolina, we saved them for last. Then we got the Miami Dolphins taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Um, I'm going Seattle. Tua is hurt. Tyreek hasn't looked great. Therefore, I'm going Seattle because Seattle has looked pretty decent. Next up, you got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Dallas Cowboys for a game that's only $41 at the cheapest, which is shocking. Um, Baltimore, same rules as Carolina. You give up 40 or more points, you auto lose next week. Like you have to prove something. Moving on to the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. Yes, their colors are flipped. I did a whole video where I color swapped the rivals. So I forgot to do it with Carolina New Orleans week 1, but it happens. I'm going Niners. They are the more healthy of the two teams, and that's actually saying something because both teams are banged up. Then we got the Detroit Lions taking on the Arizona. I almost said Coyotes, but Cardinals. This was harder to pick. Arizona did just put up, where's the game? 41 on the Rams. And yeah, like I said, but New Orleans put back to back up. Detroit lose again? Can't remember what Detroit did. Detroit lost to Tampa. I'm still going Detroit, despite being 2-0, I think. 0-2, I think. No, 1-1. They beat the Rams. Oh yeah, that great game. That stream. I have more faith right now in the Lions than I do in the Cardinals. Then for our Sunday night game, we got the Kansas City Chiefs, which I am about to make them a ref logo. You know what? I'm going to do that. New logo for the Chiefs. Taking on the Atlanta Falcons. I'm going Chiefs. Even though the Falcons have looked impressive, the Chiefs have kind of looked better. They're looking decent, and the refs are playing very well for the Chiefs. Moving on to the very stupid Monday night doubleheader, which isn't really a doubleheader. You got the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Buffalo Bills at 7:30. I'm going Buffalo. They are playing amazing. Then we got at 8:15 the Washington Commanders taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going Bengals. They kind of look better. But this is kind of what I'm saying. Like 7:30 Buffalo Jacksonville makes sense. Two East Coast teams. And that makes sense. Why is it Washington Cincinnati? Like the smart money game here would have been I know they were just on last week, but like Rams, Niners, two West Coast teams. Um, you schedule two teams from the West to take up that second time slot. But we are moving on to my favorite team, possibly your favorite team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, Seattle Mariners. No, the Carolina Panthers. Got it. Taking on the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm just figuring out why my shirt isn't popping, but I'm gonna figure out that later. Yeah. Raiders are coming off a good win last week, upsetting the Niners. I think a lot of that had to do with the high emotion due to.
A few moments later.
Sorry, I had to go find the name because I didn't want to be disrespectful. Yeah, the Raiders won last week against an upset against the Ravens. I think a lot of it had to do to Jacoby Jones' mom and son being there. A highly motivating game. I think that was their first home game. Yep, first home. I think that's it at. No. Yeah, so like you had all the high end motions, but Carolina is starting a new quarterback. So therefore, I am going to hope again. I'm going Panthers. Now, to the good Panthers, the logo's going to say it the rest of the time. I will say this. If Andy Dalton goes out there and looks good, I mean, like, how we thought Bryce Young was going to look, I think Bryce is traded within like 2 weeks. Now, if that were to happen, I hope then that Bryce Young continues not to be good because I'm tired of seeing people saying that the Panthers destroyed Bryce Young. Now, last year sucked? Of course. A lot of rookies have bad rookie years because they're on bad teams. That's why they got picked number one. But the O line has given up 4 pressures on 29 snaps. I think that was last game. Wide receivers are kind of looking open. If it's the team, then Bryce should be still making some great plays. I really haven't seen that big splashing plays like sprinkled here and there, but nothing great. So that is that. And there's also the possibility that he's just not a good pro. Did we say that Denver destroyed Tim Tebow? No. Did we say that the Carolina Panthers destroyed Jimmy Clausen all those years ago? No. There's a ton of quarterbacks that were great in college that weren't great in the pros. This is a plausibility of what's going on with Bryce. I don't know. This week will definitely show something, but I definitely think RG3 had a great point. This is his third head coach, and we know 2 of them did not pick him. Frank Wright basically said that he was going to pick Stroud. But he got overruled by Fitterer, who's no longer part of the team, and the owner. The owner ain't going anywhere. Stop complaining about him. So, and Canales took over the team. So, this is really going to come down to if Dalton goes out there, looks god awful. Okay, it's the system. It's not Bryce. We can work on that. But if Dalton goes out there and it's like, damn it, this old man who I think's the same age as me went out there and made this look real easy. Got us to win. Okay, he's a year older than me. Got us to win, looked great, and gives us hope in this potentially tough division. I don't know why. Then, yeah, it's Bryce Young's got to go. But if Andy Dalton goes out and looks god awful, it's like, okay, system, we're good. But that's it. That's all I have. I will see you weird people later.